have to swim in between or jump from a skyscraper to make it into the, yeah, what's he doing there, you know. But it's the content, but yeah, it's more about the arrangement of a documentary, what you are interested in. So you have to say what is good for you. We do anything you want except killing each other or, you know, or wild stuff, you know. But it's up to you to say what you
so we're
want.
open to any of that might make it more interesting, because our world has really been mostly an outdoor world. I always thought that Harrison Ford would play you and Julia Roberts would play me, but they're getting older too. Harrison Ford's older than you.
He is, yeah. He looks older too.
And he just did that movie.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so. You tell it better.
No, but you got the dates better right.
Oh no, you know the dates.
Well, it's difficult to just suddenly go all back 20 years ago, you know. It's not so easy, especially in the environment where we met. You could never plan anything like this. It's just coincidences and, you know, the universe conspiring and all this world. Yeah,
in a good way.
And there it goes. Yeah, 20 years ago. That's exactly 20 years ago.
No, 20. It'll be 21 in August.
21, so we're adults.
Yeah,
21.
We're almost an adult. We can almost have a drink on our anniversary,
yeah,
right?
we will. We will have a drink. That was in the Amazon.
Thank you for all the adventures.
Yeah.
And they haven't stopped.
There will be more.
That's right.
It
was 86 for Funatura.
86, but it then was inaugurated in
89.
89. Far away from civilization, everything. It's unbelievable. It's a thing you do once in your lifetime to create and co-create a national park.
Jaguars living there and anteaters, parrots. We saw parrots flying. It was like they were all saying thank you for saying, because it's all agriculture all around. It was very emotional for him going through that.
And we drove through. I wanted to show her what was done, because now she has all the world of America on her back, and I did everything in Brazil, all the daily works and, you know, and so forth. Now she is in charge of everything.
Hey!
So she has to deal. So it's an interesting kind of living, such different worlds.
Now I'm kind of finding my way. I'm doing a lot of plein air painting because it keeps me connected with nature, state parks, and people in places that are preserving areas. To paint Brazilian subject matter now just doesn't feel right, except for things like the World Parrot Trust calendar, civic commissions and things like that. But the more I feel I need to be more in touch with painting where I am. It was hard for me coming back to acclimate to this nature, because Brazilian nature is so exuberant with all the bromeliads and the epiphytes and the trees that are enormous, and all the vines, and a tree like one of these trees would be full of bromeliads and epiphytes and vines hanging off of it and color everywhere and orchids. But the birds in Brazil are really, they're just fabulous. They're so colorful and so many species, at least where we were in the Atlantic forest. So I love our birds here, but well, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to compare.
So a painter must be married to have another person who's doing the job, you know. Our friend will have pity for us that we have so horrible tripods called easels. Look at what a sad thing against yours. Look at it. This is like medieval times, you know, medieval.
Yeah.
It's a horror trip. And they're complicated. That's very complicated. And me as a naturalist, I always try to immediately when I hear a sound, I go right and see what it is, you know. But nature is for me, of course, the maximum. And just painting nature is just wonderful. Just wonderful.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go get my bug suit just in case I need it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've got a full netting suit, but I usually just wear the top of the
From our jungle world in Brazil, you know, she looked like a Mars person, you know, from another planet. All so the mosquitoes don't get. It's unbelievable. Oh God, this is medieval here. We have to find a new way how to do this. It's just very calm this morning. Of course, it's a completely different world of nature. Tropical natures, that richness. You can't talk like that easily. It's so full of noises, cicadas and all different types of bird life, and they flew right in front of your face and you, whoa, what was that? It's unbelievable. But everything has its thing to be, you know. As a banker, I think I've never seen a bird correctly. You know, never looked at a bird correctly because it was not in my range of interest in those days. It was a man, Mr. Dunning. He wanted to make a book about the land birds of South America. And he heard from the Varig Airlines, there's houseboat operation from a man, a German man called Christoph, and you can fly to Brasilia, and he liked that idea because he thought he's going to contribute a lot if he goes into an area which was never visited by birding people. He didn't know the birds very well. He was a pharmacist man. So he had a backup for his book of an ornithologist, Dr. Robert Ridgely. He wrote a book, The Birds of Panama, The Birds of Ecuador and Colombia and everything, but nothing of Brazil. He sent him the pictures he took from the birds he saw in my houseboat world. He fell out of the sky, Dr. Ridgely, said, "Where the hell are you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm on that houseboat in the middle of Brazil, boarding the Amazon." He said, "I have to go there." So he flew down to see this and saw that wonder, how beautiful. And the bird species were not known yet on the official listings. And they asked me to take over, if I would take over having groups accompanying in all different nature habitats of Brazil. So I started international birding in Brazil and was very successful. And I got a birder myself, of course. I learned all the birds of Brazil. I had a huge list of birds I've seen in Brazil, and gave stability for the company and for my life. And my bank boss came to Brazil one day, some years later, and loved what he saw and said, "I would like to buy some shares in your company. Is that possible?" You know, like saying, "I'm happy that you made it. I would even buy shares." And I said, no, my company is a private company. I don't have shares. You know, I'm not on the stock exchange or anything. But he wanted to share how happy he was that I made this nature world happen in my life. And that I felt well for me, that it was recognized that he loved Brazil and he loved the nature in Brazil. And I kind of changed my life from a banker into a full naturalist of Brazil. That was very nice. Yeah, I miss Brazil, but I worked 45 years for nature conservation, so I'm really was ready to have something different, a new challenge in the world. And Kitty with her art, bringing her back to the US. That is a big challenge. Mm-hmm. Change everything, and it's really worth it. You have to challenge yourself in life, you know. You're not allowed to just, oh, I'm feeling fine, I'm good, so I don't need to think about doing something else. You have to challenge yourself all the time. Otherwise you don't grow. You stay the same guy since birth until die. You stay just the same guy.
Well, we haven't done that.
No, we
We're
have
not
not
guilty
done.
of that.
You really want to have a growth possibility.
Whoa! Oh man!
Yeah, in Brazil, there would be monkeys throwing stuff at you.
And it wouldn't be fruit.
No,
Or
it wouldn't be
seeds.
fruit. Yeah. It wouldn't be fruit. Yeah.
That's a story.
Yeah.
No bad spider bites, right? Have you had any bad spider bites in
No,
Brazil?
no. 40 years of nature, I was really intact.
That was my only really serious.
I had some near-death experiences on my 40 years nature, but I was not deadly bitten or somewhat. It's all okay.
Anaconda experiences in that?
Anaconda, big snakes.
Waking up in the morning with an anaconda stretched out next to him, next to his little pallet on the floor, longer than he was.
Luckily she was as tired as I was.
She'd eaten rats all night, so she was full. She wasn't interested in him. He was too big of a
Imagine
morsel.
you lie on the floor overnight and you know, you stretch and put your arm out, you know, by stretching, and suddenly you have a warm feeling, or a cold feeling more.
And it wasn't me.
And it was a huge anaconda lying right beside me. It stretched out the entire room. One big anaconda. You have no idea how fast you can fly out of the window. You know, not door, window. The next possible possibility. That was a wild adventure.
Sir?
Yes.
Well, this hat is so when those things fall, they won't hurt me, right? Smart. Brushes and paints. Brushes.
Painters always have a plan. It's
Not
not by
always.
just looking and say, oh, pretty, I'm going to do this.
And the plants
Her
have
head
changed.
goes. You know, it's like an animal with 1,000 little sensors. Go in all the area and she sees immediately, oh, that's a tree bending. That's interesting. How is the light coming in? Oh, the sun. And is there support where I put my easel and stuff? Do I fall in the water or not? You know, and stuff. So her head goes, before she chooses a place. She was very fast this morning because there's time limit. But in
there
principle,
always is plenty of-
sometimes she walks 10-15 minutes around the area
And I'll
to s-
photograph.
to see if there's a more interesting place, a more wild place, a more colorful place where the sun goes through, and so it's a process.
And see, that's the nice thing. I don't know that all plein air painters really realize this because you get so concentrated on your work, but you do take in all the senses around you. So that's another thing that I feel like comes out in a plein air painting is the whole feeling, the temperature and the sounds and the smells, and I think all that goes in and goes back out in the painting, which is why I think that they can be very expressive. I like the way the light's hitting that tree right now. Behind it. I just realized my canvas is already like an art piece. I could just paint the shapes of the shadows of the leaves.
Look at that. That would be a great abstract painting.
Yeah. It really would be.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. Okay.
Isn't that nice in the morning in the forest like that? It's wonderful. One wonders why people in nature try to wear things which a little bit is accommodating with the colors of nature where you go. Most people erroneously say that they do that because they want to kind of disappear in front of any animal, that they don't immediately identify you as a stranger in the forest, which is a concept which is not at all okay. I wear it more in the colors of nature if possible, because I want to feel part of that environment.
Whoa!
They don't want you to paint in this area here.
That was close, wasn't it? Oh man, do we need hard hats?
Oh my, yeah, we had a,
That was, I mean,
from
that would
the
hurt.
World War, from
If
the
that
World War,
hit?
yeah, that hurts, yeah. Your hat is strange because it leaves the top open.
I already
so you
joked
get
about
it
that,
right on it, yeah.
that I had the right hat for this, right?
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I guess it would make a very short painting session if that were to hit us.
Yeah, that would be end of a painter.
You think it's dangerous?
No.
Okay.
The chance that it gets on your head exactly in the right is very small.
Okay. This is just an underpainting to get color on my canvas.
But sometimes
And a nice
the underpainting when
golden
she does
color.
is so good. They say sign it, you know, because it's so interesting. Just the underpainting sometimes.
I just don't want that white on my canvas. So it's pretty typical. Most people do an underpainting. And you can be as free with it as you want. Fell in love with these open acrylics, and in Brazil they stayed open for 6 or 7 hours with the tropical humidity where I was working. And here it's not quite that, but I still really like them. And it's nice because a painting can be pretty much dry. When you're transporting plein air, that's also an issue. You know, I've been painting since I was a child. My mother was an artist, but she didn't pursue her art professionally until, well, when I went off to college. Careers developed at the same time. But she was always creative. She was always sewing or doing crafts or something like that. And she was interested in art. But I just remember as a child always drawing and always painting, and she always encouraged me. The first weekend we were back in town in the Pearl, dean of the art department. He called me and he said, I have a painting of your mother's I want to bring to you. First weekend. And I thought it'd be some, about this size, some little piece. And he comes over with his wife Jane, and they get out of the car with that beautiful big painting. And I was just floored. And he said, well, as you know, and because I was there in 1985, he and my mother had an exhibit together at Austin Peay. And at the end of the exhibit, they traded paintings. She gave him one of her paintings, he gave her one of his pieces of sculpture. And he had that piece, and he said, you just should have this. And I said, well, it's going to go in the living room over the fireplace. That's where it deserves to be. So, no, I'm not taking any phone calls right now. Sorry.
That's fine.
Turn the volume down. And so it's been hanging there. And we have a great friendship with them. And yeah, it's just a gift. My mother died in 2004. I was 46 years old, and she was 46 when she started her art career. And I'd had an art career as a commercial artist. And I thought maybe it's time for me to have a different career. I was in Brazil, I was photographing, I was mesmerized by the nature. And I think it was very healing for me, because when you photograph, it takes so much focus, especially what I was photographing. I was waiting for birds to open their wings and to catch that wing flap. And a lot of it, I spent a lot of time in the Pantanal in those 2 years. That's the largest wetlands in the world in Brazil. It's the size of Great Britain. It's amazing. And I thought that was going to be my new career, actually, a wildlife artist. First children book that I illustrated was came out in 1995 in Little Rock. This is another one I did in the same kind of style, with cut paper for the bird and realistic watercolors for the human. So the bird is watching the story as it unfolds. So this was an endangered parrot, and Christoph and I were very involved in the program for its survival. It's now off the endangered list.
Wow.
And these books were distributed to children in the area where the bird was in danger. Mostly their trees they like to nest in were being taken down to make canoes, because it was mainly a fishing You know, that's how most of the people made their living. The organization, which is the largest NGO working for nature preservation in the Atlantic Forest area where we were, they started building artificial nests for the birds, with also educating the local people not to traffic the birds and be protectors of the birds rather than traffickers of the birds. That all fit into the whole.
And you know, when you look back to have participated in such a deal, and many things came after that, that was only the beginning, the first project of Funatura, of the foundation. Today, it's much more important, and we made hundreds of projects. And so it is important that the persons can decide if they want to help nature or not, but just deciding where can I help. And that was a wonderful opportunity to protect. And that was.
You got teary-eyed. You made me teary-eyed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just very emotional, you know. If you're creating parks and saving animals and you know, protecting nature. It should be taught in schools that we are part of nature, and if we destroy anything, we're destroying ourselves. And humanity is on that path, unfortunately. It's not stopping to destroy. And that is very complicated to bring to people. Stop it, you have to, the consciousness has to arrive in the heads of people. We are destroying ourselves. That's by the company. Kitty won her big award.
All right.
For excellency in painting and excellency in working for nature conservation. Mm. She won that big award in Vancouver, in Canada, last year.
Oh wow.
Artist for Conservation.
Artists for Conservation, it's the leading group of artists in the world working for nature conservation. There are 500 members. We're all over the world. It's limited to 500 and it's by invitation only. And I've been a member since 2009 and been in most of their international exhibitions that are in Vancouver.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, I'm proud of that affiliation. It's the Oscars of conservation in visual arts. For the Simon Coombs Award. Been
17.
Well, 18 now.
18.
Michael Dumas won it in 2023, and mine's 2022. A South African artist, sculptor, created it.
Getting more dramatic, the painting.
But I like it. You like it?
Yes, very nice. Very much. I know it's going to be more dramatic with the time.
Being in this place, and I've enjoyed painting here before. That tree, and the first time I painted it was that scene looking that way, but it's. Mm-hmm. I do miss Brazil, but it's just this is a different world, and it's a really wonderful world to be back and reconnected, but I do miss it. Yeah, we haven't had any more bombs fall on us.
No more?
No.
Yeah.
Shut up and go to sleep.
It was love at first sight. It was like electricity, like just magic. Wonderful time, and it still is. So that's pretty great too. Still and always the big love of my life. An incredible person, all his history and all he's managed with his world. 45 years and a few hours. So, good?
Yes, ma'am.
I made this box too.
Oh, wow.
I'm really proud of this because I'm not a woodworker. I had a friend in Little Rock that helped me make that box with her equipment in her studio. That I made that. I'm probably more proud of that than the painting.
Think if this would have been a very sunny morning
Yeah.
with the light coming through, it would be a complete different painting. That's the interesting part.
That's very subtle, peaceful painting because there isn't very much light. It would have been very sparkly. But you feel like you're in deep woods.
Yeah.
It's nice to have help though.
Yeah.
Almost everywhere I look along here, I see where I could do another painting. So, you need help with that last bit? For this? Yeah.
That's good enough.
So this holds it.
Super.
And another wonderful painting excursion.
Yeah.
Good?
Here you go. That's what we have.
There we are. Thank you.
Goodbye, dear friend. Nice to meet you. Wonderful to meet you.
He asked for my part of it, my side of the story when we met.
Oh yeah? Oh my God. Good.
Yeah.
Very
It
nice.
is good.
Very nice. Very nice. Doing in life, walking away with a backpack.
But I can put that under my arm and then I can carry the box with this laying flat and I'm good. So
Yeah.
it works.
And then you walk away. She says that she will make a painting on these walls.
I'm not going to cover it all with paint
The
on the
upper
walls.
design where you're just handing now this kitty running with her art piece.
It's like a stick figure with an arm.
This has a long history also. This is also from at least 150-year-old, and it's from the house of my parents in Germany. And I don't know where it came from exactly, but you see how it's broken up the sides. And I don't want to let it repair from anyone because it would never look nice again. You know, this is what nature does when things get older. They just undo themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Like us. And so I love it the way it is. It's a Läufer. It's in German. It's a Läufer. It's because you parade on it. You walk on it. A Läufer. So it has to be breaking in, and it doesn't matter until the bitter end.